Okay, I have 6:30. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'm going to call the City Council meeting for Tuesday, January 19, 2016 to order, and I am going to reserve my right to vote as needed during this meeting. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councillor Olson. Here. Councillor Fennessy.
Here.
Councillor Bender. Here. Councillor Sweeney. Here. Councillor McDonald is excused. Councillor Garfield. Here. Councillor Herrick. Councillor Finsland, I'm sorry. Councillor Dennis Dahlbeck. Here. And Councillor Esther Dahlbeck. Here. And Mayor Hagan is joining us via teleconference this evening. Item number 4 is approval of the minutes from the December 15th regular meeting and the December 21st special meeting.
Are we taking these both at the same time?
Yeah.
Okay, so that motion is to approve both. Okay. Motion has been made and seconded for approval of both December 15th and the 21st council meeting minutes. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, motion carries.
5.1 is a public hearing for an ordinance amending the City Code, Chapter 122, the zoning code and zoning map by rezoning lots in the vicinity of 24th Avenue East and East 16th Street from Suburban District to Heavy Manufacturing District.
At this time, I'm going to open up the public meeting for this agenda item. For all those that wish to speak in favor of or opposition to this item, please do so now. For a second time, all those that wish to speak in favor of or opposition to this item, please speak now. And for a third and final time, those who wish to speak in favor of or in opposition to, please do so now. Hearing none, the public meeting is closed. Council action?
Motion approved. Second.
Motion made and seconded to approve this. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, motion carries.
Item 5.2 is a public hearing regarding an ordinance amending the zoning code and zoning map by rezoning lots in the vicinity of 24th Avenue East and East 14th Street from M2 Heavy Manufacturing District, and this should read to R1B, one family residential rather than suburban. The public hearing notice was published correctly and the ordinance was correct. It was just an error on my part on the agenda.
Okay, at this point, I'd like to open up the public meeting for this item. All those that wishing to speak in favor of or in opposition to this item, please do so now. For a second time, all those wishing to speak in favor of or in opposition to this item, please do so now. And a third and final time, all those wishing to speak in favor of or in opposition to this item, please do so now. Hearing none, I'm going to close the public meeting. Council action? Second. Okay, motion been made and seconded to approve this item. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, motion carries.
Item 6 is a consent agenda, and Councillor Bender is requesting to separate item 6.8 for discussion.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded to approve the consent agenda and separating out 6.8.
6.8 is a referral to the Public Works Committee. It was Councillor Bender requesting review of Chapter 58, garbage and trash, for possible pricing revisions for small and large residential premises. Motion to approve the referral?
Approve the referral, yes. Right, and I would just say one thing when I'm recognized.
You say one.
I would just say one quick thing when I'm recognized.
Okay. Okay, so the motion's been made and seconded to refer this
to Public Works.
Public Works Committee.
Yes.
Which I kind of thought that was going to be what the item was, but.
Right.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. The only thing that I would want to say is I made a little cheat sheet of paper. What I would suggest. What's currently on there is if you have a fourplex, you can have up to 4 cans. But if you have a 5-plex, 4 cans, and so on and so on and so on. And numerous landlords have contacted me about this, And so I will not be here physically for the February meeting, but I will send something in writing.
Okay,
As
good.
far as what, but everybody
Okay.
gets a little cheat sheet if they want.
Okay.
They'd also make a great bookmark. Thank you.
Good, nope, I think this should be referred to Public Works and have that discussed as it
I'm going
is
to
an
just add on,
ordinance,
it
so.
goes to finance to look at any financial repercussions.
Well, I think we should probably refer to Public Works first and have that discussed, and then if there is any financial repercussions, then that can be referred to finance.
Well, that's why I was
or
hoping we
Public
could just take it in one swoop. I mean, if in fact there's action by the Public Works Committee, that it goes to finance.
Works. Yeah, I think it would automatically go. Or are you looking to amend the,
I just want to make sure Finance Committee gets that before it comes back to the council for any type of action.
I mean, we can amend the motion, but,
would take that as a friendly amendment.
Okay.
And
Okay.
I don't remember who seconded, Bob or Dan, did you second? Yeah, that's fine.
so if I understand, this item will be referred to the Public Works Committee, and if necessary, referred to finance for recommendation to the council then. Okay, is everybody fine with that then? Okay, motion's been made and seconded on the floor. Any further discussion? Councilor Sweeney.
I know it'll be referred, so my question is, it says currently fourplex up to 4 cans. Is that an accurate statement?
Correct, yes.
Yes.
Up to 4 cans for fourplex.
Up to.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I didn't know if, okay. Let's see, we didn't vote on that. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Now we have to vote on the balance of the consent agenda. We never did that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You're correct. So we have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda as it was amended. Well, I mean, we have a motion and a second.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Motion and a second's been made. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, motion carries.
Item 7.1, Planning Director Cirque is requesting an extension of the cooperation agreement with Northwest Regional Planning Commission down payment assistance programs through December 31st, 2018.
Motion's been made and seconded for this item. Further discussion? Councilor Sweeney.
What do we, are we paying them for this?
No, we don't, Counselor Sweeney. It all comes out of the grant.
Oh, okay.
Essentially, it's just a partnership that we have with them.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, motion carries.
7.2, Planning Director Cirque and City Attorney Perel are recommending adoption of a non-disturbance and attornment agreement relevant to the city-owned property, airport property leased for aviation-related development to Douglas Burr.
Motion been made and seconded. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, motion carries.
Planning Director Cirque and Parks and Recreation Director Morgan are recommending approval to purchase 1703 North 58th Street for $85,000 by granting the city appropriate city officials authority to enter into a purchase agreement, expend the approved dollars, and acquire the deed.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded for this item. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, motion carries.
7.4, Public Works Director Janico is recommending approval of Edenbridge Energy's request for easements and workspace through 10 parcels of unimproved city property. You have a handout tonight with an amendment totaling the payment to $283,375.
If I could make a recommendation on this, if we could approve the easement portion of this and then refer the actual compensation part of it over to finance for discussion. It's just that this needs to go to finance to find out where that compensation will be going. So if you're fine with that, I think that's appropriate.
I was going to ask that, so that's fine.
Is it Finance Committee?
Finance Committee, excuse me. Okay, is that fine with the motion maker in the second to approve the easement and separate and refer to the Finance Committee the compensation item? Okay. Motion made and seconded. Further discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, motion carries.
7.5, Public Works Director Janico is recommending approval to renew the contract for electrical design and inspection services with William Miller III in the amount of $3,500 per month for a period of 3 years.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded. Counselor Sweeney.
2 questions. Who's the keeper of the insurance policies or the proof of insurance that they carry?
That's, it's requested, or as a part of the contract, they are required to have it, and so they
No, no.
have,
Who's the keeper and that we get a certificate, proof of it? What department keeps that?
generally Finance Department.
And then my next, what are we currently paying them? A month?
It's right in the 3,500, 34, 33, something like that.
So we're giving them a slight increase in pay?
And changing the scope.
I'm suggesting we should be doing that.
Right, but also changing the scope a
okay.
bit to go along with that increase.
So if we weren't changing the scope, we wouldn't give him any increase because he didn't negotiate one, or?
We did a request for proposals, and
okay.
after the request for proposals, we
Well,
negotiated it.
That's where I'm coming from. Thank you.
Any other discussion or questions? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, motion carries.
Item 7.6, Environmental Services Director Roberts is asking that this item be withdrawn at this time. Item 7.7, Parks and Recreation Director Morgan is recommending support of the initiative to designate the St. Louis River as the National Water Trail for paddlers.
Motion been made and seconded. Further discussion on this? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
7.8, Assistant Finance Director Bronson and Environmental Services Director Roberts are submitting the 2016 stormwater utility budget and the 2016 wastewater utility budget. I don't know if you want to take them together or one at a time.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded to approve both A and B on this item. Is there any discussion on this? I'll just make one comment. I just commend everybody for working hard on this and keeping the rates even and not increasing those rates. And I think the EDS has done a great job in maintaining what they need to maintain and be proactive. And it's nice to see this being done without any increase in the stormwater or wastewater budgets. So thank you. Okay, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, motion carries.
10.1 is a resolution of the City of Superior, Wisconsin, identifying blighted property and providing approval to the Redevelopment Authority of the City of Superior to assist in the private acquisition, improvement, and development of blighted property.
Okay, motion been made and seconded for this resolution. Discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, motion carries.
10.2 is a resolution by the Community Development Division to set public hearings on March 1st on request comments on community development needs and fair housing choice.
Motion has been made and seconded. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, motion carries.
11.1 is an ordinance amending the traffic code, disabled parking zones by adding 711 Cumming Avenue.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, motion carries.
Item 12.1, business by public. We have a presentation regarding the Gateway Arts Center.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me now? Yes. Excellent. This may be the fastest city council meeting I've ever been in attendance at. First of all, thank you very much for your time and your attention, and thank you to Councilmember Bender for inviting me to be here tonight. My name is Amy Rydberg, and I am the president and founder of Gateway Arts Center Project. I was born and raised in Superior, and I lived in the Twin Ports until 1993. I have a Bachelor of Fine Arts degree in theater from the University of Minnesota Duluth, and I now live in Spring Valley, Wisconsin, which is about 3 hours away. I'm a nonprofit arts administrator, fund development consultant, and director of a St. Paul music school and a theater artist. I'm also the former executive director of an arts center, which was located in a restored historic building that was formerly the community library. So, the short-term goal of the Gateway Arts Center is to purchase, renovate, and restore the former Hammond Avenue Carnegie Library and convert it to a multidisciplinary community arts center, and I'll talk more about that in just a moment. Our mission is to utilize arts and culture as a unique engine for economic vibrancy and community development, and to establish the Twin Ports as a regionally and nationally recognized destination for arts and culture. Now, those are big goals. I am here tonight because I believe all people deserve access to the arts, something I did not have as a child growing up in Superior, with the exception of some high-quality performing arts programming at the high school level. And I believe the former library is a gift and a treasure this community should not take for granted. Now, before I talk more about the project and the future of Gateway Arts Center in Superior, I thought it would be appropriate to look at the past, when Superior was known throughout the nation as New Chicago at the turn of the 20th century. Judy Garland's parents met in Superior. I don't know if you knew that. I didn't know that until recently. Superior, I did know that Superior was a mecca for performing arts. People all over the country, performing artists, would flock here. There were dozens of theater. Tower Avenue was bustling. And Judy Garland's parents met while they were working at one of those theaters. So Judy, hopefully, I didn't check the sound, so Judy is hopefully going to serenade us with a look at Superior's past. If you can't really hear the presentation, I think you'll still get a sense of what we were going for. Somewhere over the rainbow, if you can't hear it. So Gateway Arts Center project is about so much more than entertainment options for millennials. This is about creating a heart and a soul and pride in a community that has been largely devoid of any cultural identity for more than 100 years. This project is also about preserving a historic community treasure while instilling desperately needed arts programming into Superior. This project began August 1st. I've been away, as I mentioned, I've been away from Superior for quite some time, and I was shocked to learn that the Carnegie Library, my library that I attended when I was growing up, is still sitting vacant after nearly 25 years. And I just declared, this can't happen. Within minutes, I was on the phone with Bob Swanson, who is one of the Friends of the Carnegie. The building, up, as you know, is privately owned. And this is, of course, the organization that owns the building and saved it from demolition almost a decade ago. Less than 48 hours later, I was in Superior touring the building with Bob. Since that time, we've created a startup volunteer board of directors comprised of 3 individuals with a combined total of more than 70 years' experience working in nonprofit management and the arts. We've secured a fiscal sponsor, Arts Wisconsin, which will allow us to solicit contributions in alignment with IRS policies while making gifts tax deductible to our donors. That's as we apply for our own 501c3 tax-exempt status. And we've met with the award-winning, internationally recognized architectural firm Miller Dunwoody and theater consultants Schuler Shook, who toured the Carnegie with me back in the fall. In short, we are in the planning stages before launching a capital campaign. And we are thrilled that the community has already begun to support us. At our first fundraising breakfast at the Barker's Island Inn on December 10th, we had 37 fantastic people in attendance. And in less than 1 hour, we raised more than $30,000 in multiple-year gifts and pledges for the planning and development phase of this project. Back in November, a friend of mine from high school who now lives in Pittsburgh, she asked me, now what makes you think the people of Superior actually want an art center? I mean, I would love it, but I don't live there anymore, and I would hate to see you go to all of that effort only to have it fail. And the first part of my response was, well, we have interviewed dozens of community members who have shared their thoughts and feedback about the project, including what would be most useful to them, most inspiring to them. And when Friends of the Carnegie partnered with Tansy Fair this past September and allowed access to our former library for the first time in 24 years, hundreds of people lined up, and they were thrilled to learn about the possibility of a multidisciplinary community arts center in their former library. However, I told my naysayer friends, you know, you are absolutely right. Most people in Superior would say they have absolutely no interest in an arts center because most people have lived in Superior their entire lives and they have no point of reference for an arts center. They have no idea what a multidisciplinary community arts center is. And I'm guessing some of the people in this room have no idea what a multidisciplinary community arts center could look like for Superior. So I would like to describe a typical day for you. So let's say it's 2020. 4 years from this weekend. It's Saturday, it's 9 a.m., and the cafe has already been open for 2 hours. It is filled with people enjoying breakfast, reading, writing, meeting, and relaxing in the beautiful restored area of what is for many of them the former reading room in the southeast corner of their library. And at about 9:30, the activity really begins. People of all ages, but primarily children, they rush through that front entrance for music lessons and classes, which take place in studios that were formerly the library stacks, where all the books were. Hordes of dancers arrive for classes as well, which take place in the spacious studio that is the former Northwest reading room. At about 10:30, visual arts classes of all ages and ability levels begin in the lower level of the building, drawing, painting, and clay. At about 11 o'clock, a group of teens arrive. They are Superior Teen Theater Company, and they're working on an improv and comedy show that will be performed in the new rehearsal classroom and community meeting space that is the former Children's Library. And throughout the day, Tourists and residents drop by the information desk and box office, which is the former librarian's desk, and they are warmly welcomed and invited to visit the galleries and the other common areas of the building, including the third floor, which used to store paintings for library checkout and is now a popular gathering place for book clubs and fiber arts groups, so people getting together to knit and crochet. Now, later that evening, there is a performance by an ensemble called Black Violin. They're an American hip-hop duo, and they're comprised of two classically trained string instrumentalists, and that's in the Studio Theater. It's an accessible and fun show, and the audience is filled with people of all ages and backgrounds. After the show, there's a meet and greet with the performers with wine and appetizers catered by Sclobbies. Now, by the way, in addition to being an arts center, the building will be available for rental for weddings, receptions, graduations, and corporate events, and it will offer a full catering kitchen in the former bomb shelter, which is below the parking lot. It's amazing pictures. And it will also offer an elevator for accessibility, which will make catering events and access to the arts so much easier. So that is a typical Saturday at Gateway Arts Center. And I would guess that unless you attended Tansy Fair back in September, most of the people in this room have not set foot in the library for nearly a quarter of the century, if at all. So I'd like to take a look at the present state of these areas of the library that I just described and what they could look like after a successful capital campaign for renovation and restoration. Sorry. So what did you think? Yeah, I think it's pretty great. So what could this do for Superior? In addition to engaging millennials, attracting and retaining corporations, boosting tourism, and reducing crime, all of which would happen and are benefits of a community that embraces the arts. Here are a few examples based on some of the work I've done with other arts organizations. First, imagine the Superior Elementary Schools. You know, it was just December. Imagine they just participated in an on-site school performance of the Nutcracker. Now, to prepare for the performance, they learned about Tchaikovsky in music class, discussed the story of the Nutcracker in reading, and learned about the athleticism that is required of dancers with the unit on ballet in gym class. And after seeing that school performance and integrating the arts into the classroom, the students are positively on fire, and I have seen that happen. The group of 30 and 40-something dads who used to pace around the empty Mariner Mall, bored out of their minds while their children participated in dance class at Sterling Silver Studios. They're now right down the hall while their children are in dance class, and they're jamming out at Rock Band Camp for dads. The North End neighborhood, those young people that used to have nothing to do except vandalize cars and steal holiday decorations, they're now in the dance studio after school and on weekends in hip-hop and breakdancing classes in a safe, supervised environment. And for Superior, people would have more to discuss than Quick Trip. There are more exciting things to talk about, like the upcoming performing arts season, the exhibits featuring local and regional artists, and upcoming classes for themselves and their children at Gateway. There would be a sense of pride and accomplishment that is palpable. People are proud to support Superior businesses and organizations. They think twice before crossing the bridge to spend money in another state because they know that keeping revenue in the community is important. Corporations are starting to look at Superior as a viable location for business. Tourism is increasing because Superior is getting a reputation for having a burgeoning arts community worth experiencing and supporting. There's development downtown. Great restaurants and unique retail have moved into formerly vacant storefronts. People love going out to dinner and shopping before seeing a show at Gateway. More than ever, people are proud of their Gateway. There's nothing like Gateway in Duluth or the surrounding area, and they are excited to have been part of its restoration and resurrection. They're proud of the high-quality programming and opportunities for community engagement. So these are my dreams for Superior, and if you are inspired by what you've seen and heard tonight, I invite you to contact me directly. We're very interested in partnering with Better City Superior, participating in Superior Days in Madison if that's appropriate, and anything else that would be mutually beneficial to Superior in this project. We're very interested in sharing this project at Rotary, Lions, Kiwanis, and other service organizations, and I'd like to personally invite you to join us at our next fundraising breakfast, which is Tuesday, May 17th at the Barker's Island Inn, not to have you make a gift necessarily, but to come and learn more about our progress with the project. It is a free fundraising breakfast, as was the one on December 10th. I know that we distributed some flyers that have some basic information, our frequently asked questions, facts, and a wish list on the back that also has my phone number on it. If you'd like to contact me to confirm your attendance at the breakfast, or if you have any other questions about Gateway Arts Center. And now just thank you very much for your time and your attention.
Say, Amy, thank you for coming, and thank you for mentioning that part about the dads. I had made a note of that because that is something that would be, especially to millennial parents who are there for dance. The mayor and I, in fact, maybe the mayor wants to make a couple comments on this, but the mayor and I were at that breakfast, and the presentation's even better the second time.
Oh, good. Thank you.
I'll tell you that I saw a number of things that I hadn't seen before. Just a couple thoughts, and a couple of these we had mentioned when we talked after the get-together, was that if we're going to attract the demographic of dinks, which isn't saying bad thing about people, but dual income, no kids, you have to have vibrant arts if that's going to happen. One other suggestion besides Rotary, and I mentioned that to you when I spoke to you about it, making a presentation at Rotary, would be the Superior Douglas County Leadership Group.
Okay.
And you can shoot me an email and I'll get you contact information for that. But they always do projects as part of that, and many of us here are graduates of that, and that would be something good that you might want to make that presentation to. And I also spoke with Bruce Thompson afterwards, Bruce Thompson from the National Bank of Commerce, and he's very excited about this, that this is really going to complement, if not be a large part of the Expo District. And so
we would love that.
Some very, very exciting news. So maybe, I don't know, Bruce, are you still listening?
He fell asleep.
Okay, did you want to make some comments?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Oh, did you want to say anything about, remember you and Lois and also I were there for the presentation at the breakfast on December 10th?
It was very encouraging, very interesting, and have focused the attention that would be needed for bringing that together for the cultural and arts in the community. It's an exciting opportunity.
Thank you.
I agree. And I know the mayor made a pledge, as did I at that, and I just happened to have some packets in case anybody's interested and wants to see me later. But I would very much encourage you to go to the, was that May 5th?
May 17th.
May 17th. I would very much encourage you to go to that breakfast because you get a chance to have a continental breakfast and also really get a chance to delve into this in depth. And I think it's something that the community really needs, especially with all of the things that you had said about what it could do for the community. So thank you again for coming all this way from Spring Valley, was it?
Correct, yeah.
Okay, well, that's great. Thanks again.
Thank you. Take care.
We have a few other councilors. Councilor Estradalbeck.
I have a comment I'd like to address to you. In your opening remarks, you said all people deserve access to the arts. I'd like to know how you intend to achieve accessibility to that building. My mother was a children's librarian there for many years, and I grew up in that building. It's very dear to my heart. I want to do anything I can to preserve it, but I require that you do something to make it accessible to all people. We have a lot of people in this community that are unable to climb stairs or maneuver real steep ramps or anything. And as a city project, if we were going to license it for anything, I think we should require that building to be accessible. And I know that will be a difficult task.
I
would
love
like
that.
to see the city contribute to that. We've done that for the Historical Society, where we helped them acquire their elevator. And I think we should take on that as a responsibility. I'd like to warn the councilors that I'll be arguing for that every inch of the way.
I love that. Thank you. First of all, thank you very much for that. My previous position before I started working in consulting about a year ago, I was the executive director of the Mabel Tainter Center for the Arts in Menominee, which underwent a significant restoration campaign about 3 years before I went on staff. And that included making the building completely accessible to people, to individuals with disabilities. Prior to that campaign, if you were an individual that had mobility challenges, this always gets me choked up. They had to call the fire department and have you physically carried up the stairs, which is so incredibly demeaning to me. You couldn't go to see a show or participate in programming there. Sorry, I'm a drama queen. But they had a successful capital campaign, they built an elevator, and now even volunteers, people who have asthma and challenges getting up and down the stairs, they use that elevator all the time. They're able to give back. So absolutely, that's a high priority for me. And incidentally, the architectural firm that we would like to work with, the one that toured the building with me in the fall, is the same architectural firm that did the renovation at the Mabel Tainter Center for the Arts. It's an award-winning renovation. It's a beautiful building, and we actually were named one of 15 spectacular theaters in the world by CNN Travel as a result of that renovation. That was all Miller, Dunwoody, and Schuler Shook, the same architects that I want to work with here. So perfect question. Thank you for asking that.
Councilor Estradalbeck.
Thank you. I think it's a wonderful idea, but I do have to correct you on the north end. They are not full of juvenile delinquents or Christmas decorator tear downs or whatever else you said about the north end. There are a great bunch of people who live in the north end who would be very, very happy to see something like this, and they would all be interested in doing what they can to do for this project. So I think you better rethink when you say the north end is a bad end of town.
Oh, I completely agree with you, and I apologize if you interpreted my communication in that manner. I have friends who live on the north end. That was not meant to be derogatory.
Councilor Garfield.
Sure. First of all, thank you so much for coming and giving us this presentation. It is really exciting. I guess from what else I was going to say, I will take a second just to recognize I've been to the Mabel Tainter on a couple of occasions. It's a beautiful theater. My grandmother, who passed away last year, actually volunteered at the Mabel Tainter for many years, and she loved that building. My grandparents and my father are from Menominee, so I'm familiar with the theater and the location. I do think that there's some really exciting potential here. I do have to ask a couple of questions. So I was student body president of UW Superior for 2 years, and I dealt with fighting for liberal arts in our city, especially for the theater program at the university and the music programs there. it's my concern that some of those programs that are already offered to the community are kind of underutilized. So there need to be a way to get more people engaged in utilizing the arts that are available. So I have a little bit of concern there with the fact that we already have some institutions of fine arts in the city that are kind of underutilized. My questions would be, who would predominantly be teaching this programming? Would this be community members, or would these be graduates of programs in fine arts in the area? And then are these people paid, or are they all volunteer?
To answer the question, so much of the planning and development phase of this project would address some of those issues. The total estimated campaign budget, including planning and development, the restoration, renovation, including the accessibility, and also building in 3 years of startup support, because of course, as you mentioned, this is a brand new business. And it's a brand new industry for Superior. We have estimated, after working with the architects, approximately $10.5 million, of which we would be applying for tax credits, just like they did at the Mabel Tainter. We would be pursuing funding from foundations, corporations, and individual donors. And after the project is up and running, based on statistics from Americans for the Arts and population size and what we estimate the program to be, we anticipate that this building, this facility and organization will stimulate approximately $425,000 annually into the Superior budget. Now, to answer your question about who would be implementing the programming, I agree with you. I spent my first year at the University of Wisconsin-Superior, took voice lessons there. There are some very high-quality music instructors. I think as much as possible, we would be working with local performers, local musicians, instructors, and theater artists. In addition, one of my passions is connecting communities and bringing in high-quality performing artists and other artists from other communities to provide cross-disciplinary training and opportunities. But all of that would be addressed in the planning and development phase, which we're hopefully going to be initiating soon if we are able to raise the funds.
Right. I would suggest that any successful art undertaking such as this would have to really partner with the university in a significant way. We have struggled to keep that theater program alive at UWS and struggled with declining enrollment in the music program and things like that. And at the same time, there's some really significant talent in undergraduate students, as well as just the very talented faculty that we've been able to retain. Something that created jobs for undergraduate students in finer arts, when that's an underemployed group of people in our community already, that would be, for me, a potential here to, support the university and its students, as well as perhaps collaborating between the art talents we have here instead of maybe creating competition for different things such as theater performances and events. Because, it is unfortunate, but we have a hard time getting people out to the university to attend, opera workshop, theater programming, and to get the community involved. There's a lot of potential here. But we want to make sure something like this, if we invest in it significantly, is going to be very successful. The other thing I would say is, we struggled a lot with the state in terms of keeping funding for fine arts. How much would this project rely on state grants and revenue as opposed to federal grants or local private funding through donations?
On an ongoing annual operating budget?
Yeah.
Well, the Wisconsin Arts Board does not provide much in terms of ongoing funding. We would probably be applying for project funding on a regular basis, but compared to Minnesota, now I work in both Wisconsin and Minnesota, it's night and day. So with regard to state funding from the Arts Board, very minimal, maybe a couple $1,000s every year. When I worked at the Mabel Tainter Center for the Arts and with other arts organizations, what I found is, compared to Minnesota, I worked for a teen theater company in Minnesota right before I took that position at the Mabel, and we had so much funding from the Minnesota State Arts Board, and then the legacy funding passed, and we had even more. It was just rolling in the door, and of course we had funding from Target and McKnight and all of those great foundations, General Mills, and then I accepted this position in Wisconsin, and of course It's a very small town, rural community, very little corporate presence, and the Arts Board basically doesn't exist in Wisconsin. It's under the umbrella of tourism. Now, we would focus on that as much as possible because obviously this arts project would be a huge asset for tourism. But what I really learned is individuals are very passionate about their communities in the arts, and that is where we were really able to shine with regard to individual donors and really taking the performing arts season up a notch, really bringing in the most high caliber performing artists, highlighting the most exceptional local artists. Ticket revenue went from approximately, or capacity in the theater went from approximately 37%. You know, if you had a theater of 200 and only 37% of that was full on a regular basis. After that first year that I was there, it was up to almost 90% capacity, and the donations followed. So we would be looking at, as much as possible, passionate individual donors. I wanted to also address what you mentioned about the university. I have reached out to the university. I'd love to talk with you more, too. My intention would be to work very directly, in particular with the music department, because I do have, that is my background, is working with those musicians. And also, I run a music school. I know how to work and partner with instructors and how they need a reliable working income. When we were putting together the first year budget, we estimated that at least 5 contract music instructors would be employed by the Gateway Arts Center, and that is exactly where I was envisioning them coming from, was UWS. So
I'm glad to hear it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much. We don't have anybody sign up to speak by public, so is there any other business to be brought before this body? If not, we're adjourned. Thank you.